I just spilt lemon extract all over my fingers. It's all fresh right now. I can smell it right now. It's not fun. Anyway, we're going to go with episode 3 of Valhir right now. We're going to go for it. I have my notes here. They're kind of incomplete, but we're going to go for it because after spending a few days at sea with Rax, the half-orc ship captain who was helping Valhir in Canticle Bay, they decided to go downwards, south towards, and I kid you not, in my notes it says insert town name. I forgot to ask the name of it. Anyway, it's a larger city than Canticle Bay. Anyway, he went into the city and he found a play going on about the founding of the entire town, where 3 hags, sea hags, were in charge of this area, and they were shooed off by the local people, and blah, blah, blah. So he didn't really pay attention too much. He's like, oh, that's neat. Hags, people are killing people that really aren't doing too bad of things. They're taking over this land from the magical creatures, which is annoying as hell. So he doesn't already like this place one bit starting out. But you know that magical Lady Luck coin I was talking about? And I was like, man, this is a great thing for him to have. He could actually turn the tides. When he's watching it, it gets stolen right away. So he's like, oh, crap, it's stolen. And so he goes straight up. He looks at the theater, and the theater people are just getting upset right now because people are accusing them of stealing money from them. And one of this dwarf was like, hey, I'm missing 200 gold pieces. I'm going to sue the hell out of you guys or something. I don't know, probably a Republican, who knows. That was a bad joke. Anyway, and the other one was a gnome who was working for the waterway in the city is like missing the key to the main place, which is not good because someone could poison the waterway. And so they pointed Valhir in the direction of the thieves because he's like, all right, I just need to go find my fucking coin, because he's pissed that he has this amazing coin that he could have right now. He's like, all right, let's go deal with this shit. And he goes around and he finds this place at the docks, an empty barren dock house. Going through it, it's just full of trash and rats, and it's disgusting. He doesn't really like going through it right now. He gets some pretty bad perception rolls, but I'm pretty sure my wife was playing it easy on me. He's like, yeah, you find a small little desk, and underneath it there's a little trapdoor. And so opening up the trapdoor, I go down there where I found some thieves who were just like, yo, we're gonna kill you if you don't get out. And Valhir's like, yeah, no you're not. No you're not. I'll beat your face in if you try to even touch me. And he threatened them to bring them to the leader thief. The thief called themselves the Falcon. All edgy. The Falcon. This was actually, the leader was not actually that person. It was just like a body dummy for that person of the Falcon, because he kept calling himself the Falcon. It was this huge thing. I was like, why are you just calling yourself the Falcon? Like, you must not be the person. And then this woman who was actually the Falcon, she's like, yeah, I'm the Falcon. This is my person. We're just trying to lay low right now, and I need a body double. And I'm like, fucking, I don't give a shit. I will kill you if you don't give me back my coin. Like, yo, we don't have your coin right now. And I was like, all right, where's the other shit? I want some money out of this then. He's pissed because he wants his coin back. They're like, we can give you your coin back if you can get us the key to the waterway back, because they sold it to a noble half-orc named Gerwin, who lost his high noble status a while ago. He's like, fucking noble? Fine, instantly we're gonna go there, and I will just pretend to be someone he met at a party and be like, yo, it's good to see you, or something. Valhir's just like, I'm gonna play this nice act up. And so he goes, and he takes a few hours to traveling through this city. He didn't really ask for directions, so that wasn't helpful. But then he came to a noble house, which he kind of guessed was them, because they fell from being an actual noble, and so there was worse for wear than the other noble houses. And he goes in, he's like, yo, hey, how you doing? And I'm your friend. Remember me? We went at that party. I haven't aged today, but you've been going for a few years. And he got himself a 23 perception. So yeah, it was great for just being lying to. Eventually, he broke the lie by just like asking where the key was. And he was just like, what are you talking about? What key? And Valhir, being this imposing 20 strength guy, just kind of leans forward and just like, I can kill you right now and no one will care. And it's like, oh shit, the tone shifts. The butler that's there doesn't do anything though, doesn't react at all, which concerned me. I was like, is this butler going to be like trying to help me kill him later? That might be nice to see. If he doesn't tell anyone, that's good. Eventually, Gerwin's like, yo, I sold it to an ex of mine. Like, an ex of yours? What's going on with this shit? New nobles? I don't give a shit about your nobles. It's like, yeah, she killed my son. And I was like, oh shit, this goes dark, doesn't it? Because they were once like in a relationship. Gerwin and the noble Vanor Vandrum was the one who took the key. She is one of the richest nobles in the town, and it turns out that apparently he's like, yo, we had a relationship, had a child, and she decided to kill that child out of revenge against me. I'm like, okay, I don't know what the revenge is, but I'm gonna go see that side of the story and see what's actually going on, because I want to compare stories here. So he's like, fine, I'll go deal with it, and hopefully you're not lying to me. So he's terrified, which is perfect, what I need him to be like. And so he starts heading straight to the noble's house, Vanor Vandrum. Just no time to spare. He just runs it straight there. Not runs, walks briskly. And as soon as he gets in there, in the courtyard of the mansion, the gates close behind him, and 6 Kuo-toa and a Kuo-toa mage just fucking pop out. And they just start laying down into Valhir, trying to attack him. But Valhir is just is a brute, and I mean, he only has he has a pretty weak dexterity, but his constitution is high as hell. So he has a 14 AC, and he's a bare totem barbarian, so he's taking half damage from all this stuff. And so he also has he's punching people in his offhand. That's a rule that my wife and me like to do, because you can actually hit people with your offhand without having a weapon in there, because Valhir took the feat as a variant human starting out, fighting initiate, so he could have unarmed fighting. So he's just punching people as a barbarian, which is great. And so he has this magical trident that he got from the Siren Queen last session, which he's using as well. And he just brutally beats him down with his own feast. He like takes less than 9 points of damage on a 1v7, and it was hilarious. Yeah, and then he looks around and he starts climbing around, looking into the mansion, and it's fucking empty in the mansion, which is like ridiculous, because I'm just like, okay, you have these guards out here, you have no guards inside. And so he breaks in and sneaks around by climbing up some ivy and through a window, forcing it open because he has to, but not breaking it. He wants to force it open. That's what he did. And he climbs in and starts sneaking around, but eventually he comes to a dog that's like, yo, it's not talking to him, but it starts barking at him, yipping. A small dog. He's like, all right, cool. And he starts looking around to find the master bedroom. Going in there, he doesn't find a Vanor and stuff, but he does find a secret door. He starts looking around, and he finds this behind a cabinet. And opening up the cabinet to get behind it, it leads him down to a small pool where there's an elven noble just bathing naked. It's kind of making Valhir a bit uncomfortable. He's like, why is there an elfin noble mage? And so he starts thinking, like, oh, I came in here and the play was going on. This must be one of the sea hags. Oh, she is totally right for killing these people. Okay, let's see what goes on here. And so she makes some floating place for him to stand on so they could talk in this pool of water. And it was right. Originally, she was one of the hags who was wrongfully showed out of the town, and her sisters were killed. And she's really wanting to poison the entire town because she's tired of the way the theater does this false story every single day. They just totally just destroy her history. And then Gerwin lied to her and cheated on her, and Gerwin's child died of a sickness. And instead of doing anything, she didn't kill him. She just died of a natural sickness. And so she took his soul and put it into an item that she could talk to her deceased son to around her necklace, which is like, oh shit, this is gonna be like, okay. So Valhir's like, you know what? I hate the people here. They fucked over this hag. I am not wanting to deal with this authority shit. And so he decided, like, yo, I know what I'll do. I'll put this back into my own hands. So he decides to run all the way back to go talk to Gerwin and see about that. So eventually he makes it to there, and it's nighttime. So he wants to get this key back to the gnome before sunrise. And so he goes in and he starts trying to talk to the butlers. The butlers seem to be out of it, which is very concerning. Valhir wasn't really too interested in it, but it did pique his interest when they didn't react to him calling them names and stuff. Like, he would insult them to try to provoke them. I didn't know what to say, so I'm just like, kind of like flick them around and stuff. And with that, I didn't really know what to do. But it's part of Valhir as his description and stuff. Like, he really does not like it with the people taming this land and stuff, and he wants to untame the land. That's his entire goal here. He's like, I fucking hate people. And so, going back into Gerwin's place, having a conversation with him, he starts saying, I know what's going on here. I know that you're a cunt. And so we're going to talk about this shit. And I want you to leave this place and never return. And that's when Valhir notices something. Around each of the butlers, there's this collar. Even though Valhir has them in like a death grip around his throat, attacking Gerwin, these butlers aren't reacting. And that's when it clicks. Oh, he's using enchantment magic on these people. And so Valhir, oh boy, with a 22 intimidation tells him to leave, and with his bewitching them, he just gets so angry. And so when I told you that, guys, in the first episode, when I rolled a natural 20 and just punched a fucking elf rich boy in the face and knocked him out, I was like, let's see what happens here. I rolled and I slammed his head into the wall a couple times, dealing like a total of like 15 damage, and he's like almost unconscious, like, yeah, I'll leave. And then I saw these collars on him, and Valhir's like, I can't, I fucking hate this person. And so I rolled again, a natural 20, and just broke his head into the wall, just entirely just guts of the brain, eyeballs everywhere. Eventually he takes the butlers and found some treasure here, you know, might as well. So he takes the butlers, including this locket that he found in the treasure, which has a picture of 2 elves in it, plus Vanor. So I'm like, oh shit, this is her sisters. They're natural forms of these elves. And so coming back to the elven hag of Vanor, one of the things that he was wanting to have is a half hag child, a hexblood, because that just came out, and I was like, oh shit, that's powerful. And listening to Mr. Rex on YouTube, you can find out that some of these hags can have hexblood children, and they can have their own covens and stuff. And I was like, I could have a hag child. And I'm like thinking back, I'm like, I have a half sea elf child. It's going to be coming to me later. So Valhir just like wants this power. He's like, yo, in the future, 13 years from now, I could have a child that's a hexblade. Hexblood, not hexblade. Chris, that's a warlock, but that'd be cool anyway. Hexblood, hexblade. Anyway, so he's like, yo, for reward, I don't know what you're gonna give me. And eventually, they start like, yo, these butlers here, they want to leave. They'll help you. They're okay now. After doing that stuff, they've been glad to be freed and stuff. She's like, I don't want those guys. I'm like, okay. And eventually they start talking, and Valhir opens up the locket and says, your sisters are quite beautiful. And she pauses. She's like in the water, and she entirely just freezes. And I show her the locket, and eventually we'll fade to black for this part. But yeah, Valhir is actually really likes Vanor, and he might go back to actually live there for a bit before heading up to Icewind Dale. It's kind of stuck in his head because he actually really cared, because it's kind of sad for that entire story. But so with the locket, he also found some boots of levitation, so he got that stuff all together, and he's going to he brings all the treasure that he found and gives it to the theater people. He's like, yo, get the fuck out of this town, okay? Leave this place. I know you guys don't like it here. Like, yeah, you guys are getting accused of thievedom, so take this 29 platinum pieces. That's 290 gold, and that's insane for just him to give up. But it was I think he had, at the time, he had like 130 platinum pieces. Like, yo, take this and go. And he brings the key right before sunrise, brings it back to the gnome, who's very grateful. And yeah, and she is very nice to him and explains the gratitude of the situation, which is great because he felt really bad about what was going on with the city. He's like, I don't want these people to die, but these people are shitheads, so eventually I'll come back and probably deal with this. And that's that story of him saving an entire town and a sea hag, as well as totally cracking a noble skull open like a watermelon. We're going to go to episode 4 when Valhir heads inland and fights demons coming out of rifts. That's a fun story and a half. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you guys next time.